Hello everyone, and welcome to a Facebook Live or wherever you're watching this with myself, Satu, and with Timian. And today we'll actually be talking about some interesting tool from Access Foundation class. So that's the 4-day class where you get to really look at different areas of your life and see where you have been functioning from someone else's point of view or from some lie or something that you thought you would have to be, but you don't have to be. And it's a 4-day exploration into looking at what would actually work for you. And one of the topics that we'll be talking about today is a topic from the class that was really like a really big eye-opener for me. And I remember when I was actually, because my first foundation class was in Spanish, so I didn't always understand everything that was being said, but I was reading the manual the whole time. And I was reading this part in the manual, and I still remember that moment at the class, and I was like, oh, wow. And it started changing a lot for me. And it didn't change so much in that moment, because in that moment I was just like, what? But then after that, it really allowed me to start looking at things in a different way. So it's about how do you create relationships, and especially this part about what we call winners, losers, and no counts. But we'll be going more into that soon. But first, I'd like to hear from you, Timian. How was, do you remember talking about this at the foundation?
Yeah, I do. First, let me just say again how crazy your story about attending a foundation in Spanish is. That just blew me away last time when I heard about this, and yeah, it's still super crazy. So how does it get any better than that? Yeah, for me, this was, though on the first time, on my first foundation, we only did kind of like a brief talk about this. But it was one of the things that kind of just stuck with me for a long time, and I kept going over it and looking at it from different directions, and it in a sense opened up for me, first time ever, to see where I was coming from in different relationships, towards some people, towards other people, or what I was perceiving towards how people approached me. And it gave me actually the awareness that I was mostly functioning from winners and losers, and kind of the no count category just wasn't there. I wouldn't even notice people.
I guess that's a good
Yeah.
description what no count is. It's those people that nobody really notices. You don't count them in.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, whatever, who, they're right there. And it's such an interesting conversation also to really reveal where you're functioning from all those imaginations, and from well, if I do this, then this and this and this and this and this will occur, when often that has really nothing to do with that. Or how many people have this point of view that when I'm in a relationship with this specific type of person, then this will happen and it will create this, and then it will create this, and it will create this, and it will create this. All of these imaginary things that don't really have anything to do with reality. And those are also the places where we really trap ourselves, because we try to create from this oh, I must have this, and then it will create this, and none of that ever happens.
Yeah, and this neatly ties just into the general part of projecting anything, or expecting anything of anyone, or when you come to you just realized you did something and it worked brilliantly, exactly as you planned it to work, and now you're like, okay, I can do that every time now. And probably it will never work again, probably.
Or the same as seeing somebody and you're like, oh, they have brown hair, so, and I like them, so I like everybody who has brown hair.
Yeah, and just this, it's been so strange for me growing up, primary school, middle school, even college, people would ask you, like, what's your type? What's your type? And I was like, I don't actually have a type. It's just someone who I like spending time with, who makes me laugh, who is pleasant to be around, who is kind, who is nurturing. Like I knew all of these things even back then, although I would probably use a little bit different words. But it was just like, I mean, no, man, like, is it blondes? Is it brunettes? Like, what body shape? And I was like, yeah.
I know I had exactly the same thing, and especially because people are so focused on the look, the way that something looks. But quite often that's just the cover, and that doesn't really tell you what it really is. And like so many people, they're looking at like supermodels and they're like, oh my God, like they must be amazing because they look amazing. Not really always. And some of them are really amazing people, but like the way that you look doesn't really often reflect what you are. And then we have all these like points of views about when something looks a certain way, then it must have these characteristics, when it really is just a look.
Yeah. Yeah, and in regards to that, I love it how Access actually explored this from the point of view that as soon as you project on someone, like they behaved like this the last time, they will always behave like this. You actually stick them in a place where they cannot move away from. So, for example, you went to a concert and the singer like was really amazing, and you say, "Wow, oh my God, they're all of the concerts are going to be super amazing," and the next one like isn't that amazing, and your whole ideal just like shatters and you're devastated. Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Or yeah, and like with friends or people who you see daily or are closer to you in a sense, like you could then start saying to them, this isn't you, you're not behaving how you did, like blah blah blah. And the person, like, how much freedom are we actually taking away from people to just explore like everything, who they are, what the day is going to be about, what the relationship is going to be about. And what if that simply
Exactly.
went away?
Like that part, how many of you have been told that, oh, you like, why are you different today? Or when there's a new person, like you're behaving differently when there's this other person, like, why aren't you being yourself? But what is yourself? Like, how much is that what we have defined as ourself is just this really limited box of what we can be, instead of recognizing that we are infinite beings who can be infinitely everything and anything in any moment. And like also like in all kinds of relationships, also for example, some of the most defined relationship is like mom or dad or your kids. But what if they were not? Like what if your mom is not just your mom? What if your dad is not just your dad? And what if your kids are not just your kids? Those are the ones where I see people doing more, like maybe most defining and really boxing, like this is it, this is how it must be because this is our relationship, so you must be like this.
Yeah, and that's really a strong one in a sense. Like, how many times do you see? And I've had this happen with my relationship with my parents as well. Like, no, you're not old enough to do that, and like that pops up sometime, and I'm like,
You're
I
saying
mean,
that to your parents?
no, but I've had that said to me, and I was like, wait, what? It's like, how old am I, and it's kind of like this relationship from 500 years back is still kind of the same one, and the
Yeah.
parents stay the same. Like at a certain age of the child and the parent, the relationship just kind of gets locked, and then you
Yeah.
stay there for the rest of your life, and it's just the same. It's like,
And
my
that's also
God.
probably a big part why a lot of people really don't like spending time with their family, because it's like you have to go into that box, into that definition that you used to be when you were 5 or whatever it is, instead of going like, oh, well, it's been years, who are we today and what are we going to create today? And that's kind of like the core of all of the relationship talk and tools in Access, really looking at, hey, who am I today, who are you today, what can we create? And then when you have the points of view, when you have all of this, like, oh, this person is a winner, this person is a loser, this person is a no count, you don't really see what you could create, what you could be, and what kind of person would be valuable in your life.
Yeah. And one other thing, one other tool that I didn't hear in the foundation, and I'm not recalling right now if it is in the foundation, but it's how many times are we getting stuck into like this person should behave this way, blah blah blah, and we get to kind of like what we should be or should be able to do with that person. But at the end of the day, it's the body that you can communicate with. And one of the tools that I got in a seminar, like in a smaller seminar, was what can I do with this body that would be fun for both of us? And maybe it's a person you don't necessarily want to go have a coffee with, but you can play volleyball or you can go cycling or swimming, but it's not fun for you to create in a sense of like co-creating business projects or simply talking because they may be spewing all sorts of things that you can't well, subscribe to in a sense. But it's like, what can you do with the body and just simply bypass that other part? And that opened up a huge area for me of not judging people into like, I'm gonna have a terrible time with that one, and like I'm gonna have a brilliant time with that person. But it's just like, okay, so my body would like to go rollerblading. Who can I invite that would actually like to go rollerblading? Because maybe all the people who I co-create with are not interested in that.
That is a very good point. And that also kind of ties to like how much we try to find just one person that we can do everything with instead of having like, oh, this is my rollerblading friend, and this is my friend for this thing, and this is my friend for this thing, you know?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's
having like different moms, like this is my mom for this kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of similar in the Rich Dad Poor Dad by Kiyosaki, where he kind of um, describes the difference. There was one father who was his biological father, and there was the other father who basically taught him everything about money. And
Yeah.
he listened to his biological father for some of the things, and like the other one for the business part.
And I love the question that you just shared also, like, because it kind of also ties to what I just heard, what this other facilitator called Sul, that he often asks with people, like, what can I create with this person? So that it always gets out of being a relationship into a more of a creationship. And creationship is a term that we've been using in Access for some time now, because, you know, there were all these relationship classes, and Gary and Dave were always like, and they were like, there has to be something else. And then just a lot of people started looking at like, some people have relationships that are just about like, we have to maintain this image that we're in a relationship, and then we have this thing, and then we have this thing right, and then this is right, and whatever. And then there are some people who get together with someone and they create so much, and everything becomes greater, and the world becomes a better place, and everybody has more fun, not just them, but like everybody around them. So then there was the term creationship coined. And then I also started using it some time ago, the word reactionship. So I wonder how many of you who are listening, how many of your relationships are reactionships? Where you just see somebody and it activates all of these like distractors and all of this like and all of the feelings and everything, so that then after you spend time with them, you're like, where did I go?
Yeah, and if you don't know what distractors are, the foundation class is a brilliant class to learn about that. And Satu, when is yours coming up? I'm just throwing this right in.
So the next one that is in English, it starts August 28th. So that's like some days from now. Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is 20 days from now. And all of the, like, it's gonna be in Helsinki, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be awesome.
What?
It's also gonna be in a place called Dude Island.
Yeah.
I don't remember the Finnish name, but I just
What?
remember the part.
How do you not remember the Finnish name? It's so easy. It's just Jätkäsaari.
Yeah, I did remember. I just wanted to hear you say it. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you know, Sato, I've been looking at this picture, and I'm like, we almost have like the same length of hair, just a little bit more for me.
I was looking at the same. It's like, should I also just put a bit more on the side?
Yeah,
But
and
that's actually, you know what? That's interesting thing also how often people look at this when they meet somebody and they're like, oh, they like the same things as I do, or they wear the same type of clothes, or they like the same music. And then they decide that we must be together. And like, maybe you and I should be together because our hair is almost the same, you know?
yeah, but our clothes don't match, so I don't know about that.
Then it is not gonna
Yeah.
work. It's just not gonna work.
But we both use. Hold on.
See?
Yeah.
Good.
It should be the other one though, like this. Yeah.
Are we in a relationship now?
I think probably. Like, if you think we are, just like put it down in the comments so that we know.
Let us know. I'd like to know as well.
And Satu, also with what you said before about like maintaining an image, all the images, the judgments, the boxes that are put on top of like having a relationship, and like some things being partners, some things being married, and like you have to behave differently now, and people will see you differently. Like it's impolite to do certain things once you're married, or like you have to, you know, kind of like keep your head higher now because you're married, and not do stupid things anymore, not have any more fun, just cut off like everything that creates you in a sense.
And then it's interesting also how many people are creating relationships that are just, I think there was even like a survey at some point where a study where they found out like, was it like 90 or even like 95% of people would rather be in a bad relationship than not be in a relationship, which is crazy. You're like, well, I must be in this thing that limits me completely all the time and I feel horrible, but you must be in it because you must have it. And so many people never consider the choice to not be in a relationship.
Yeah. It's horrible to have a fantastic time all by yourself.
Oh my God.
It's better to have someone and for that relationship to be horrible, but at least you've got somebody. You can share it with them. If you're home alone having fun, you can't share it with anyone.
Oh my goodness. You could share it with some entities though.
And
that's
all of Facebook.
And all of Facebook, exactly. But to go a bit more again to the what we started with, the topic of winners, losers, and no count. So basically, a winner is those people who are really, you see them and you're like, this person, I must have this person. If I have this person, it will fix everything. And then the losers are the ones that you're like, oh my God, that's horrible. Why are you looking at me? And then there's the no counts, which Timian explained really well. We're like, what? Is there somebody there? You don't really even notice that they exist, but they do. And usually those people who we call the winners are the ones who will never really look at you because they really think that they are also the winners. And who are they viewing as winners? And then the losers are the ones who will always just give themselves up to be with you. And then there's the no counts, who will see you, who will be kind to you, but who will not give themselves up for you. And it's an interesting conversation to look at who is really valuable in your life. Because what I noticed at the foundation, I was just like, whoa, I'm always just paying attention to those people who I've decided are the winners. Like whether it is for like any kind of purpose, but like even if it's for friends, for people who is classy.
For any kind of purpose, okay.
But you know, yeah. So But like even looking for whose classes to go to, facilitators, and I was always looking at who have I decided is the winner, who have I decided is basically better than I am.
Yeah. And with winners, like I've seen as well, they're usually people, especially if it's in a class that I put like on such a high pedestal, that I would just be like, oh my god, I can't miss this. But when I have actually a chance and they say like, are there any questions? I'm like, you're so perfect. Just keep talking. Don't mind me. I'm not even here. Like, you know?
Yeah.
It's really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it doesn't like it's no longer a relationship because there's just the one person who is the source, and then the other person is just you just have to take whatever is given to you instead of looking at okay, what can I contribute? What can they contribute? What can we create together? What can I receive? What can they receive from me?
Yeah. And it's also so interesting, like to actually take a look, yeah, who you approach in a certain way or who approaches you in a certain way, because other people can make you a winner, can make you a loser. I mean, not make you, but like um relate to you in that
Yeah,
sense.
because none of it is really real. Like there isn't actually like you are born as a winner and you're born as a loser. It's just the points
Like
of view that we have and other people have.
it's like born as a loser.
Yeah, exactly. So it's really just the points of view that we take on and then other people take on, and then we all just play with it in all these super weird ways.
Yeah, it's like, you know, when snakes have a fun time. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just like a whole lot of snakes, and it's all just like, what's going on? Anyway, um, what I love, I'll say this, what I love about Foundation is you actually have 4 days time to like talk about this stuff. Like we've covered such a small portion, and I don't know how long we've been talking now, about 15 minutes, maybe more. But like in a foundation class, you basically get 4 days to be facilitated on anything. And like you cannot get that normally. You don't just go have a 4 day facilitation with someone and like you wouldn't even get it at that price.
And
That's
it is
also another thing.
so different also to compare to like watching videos. You could watch videos or Facebook Live for 4 days, but it's such a different thing also because it's like there's a group of people and they all choose to go to a certain direction. And then you start with a topic. And with a lot of these, like at least for me, there were a lot of topics where I needed to hear it first, but then it had to stay there for a bit. And then maybe next day or the day after that, I was like, oh, now like, okay, now I have a question about this. So that's also
Mm,
the thing about foundation, that you have that space a few days to allow it to cook in a way.
yeah. Yeah, and just this space of co-creating the class with other participants, where it's actually the things you wouldn't even ask, someone asks, and then you're like, oh my god, this is exactly what's been holding me back, what I've been choosing for the past
Yeah.
whatever long time, and now it's here and now it has words, because before I didn't even know how to express it. Like there was just something like,
Yeah.
and now someone asks about it, and I have seen this, how it just opens like an avalanche for everybody to just, it opens the floodgates of awareness, and it's just like, and it gets washed away, like all of that unconsciousness.
And I love that how often at foundation class, sometimes like people are like, I don't know, like, should I ask this a bit of a personal question? I'm not sure if I should ask it. And then when they ask it, and then 10 other people at the class are like, I have exactly the same thing. And like, oh. So that's the cool thing also about foundation, that each class has its own energy and you know which class is for you, because you know, even though you don't think that you know, but you actually know. Waiting for the class, you already know that, oh, this is the class where this and this and this person is coming, even though you think you don't, but you do. And then you can choose that if you're looking to create something more. Yeah, so it's a massive topic, this whole relationship thing. There's a lot of stuff about that in the manual as well. So if you'd like more on that, come to Foundation. And maybe after this Facebook Live, you can already start looking at who have you decided is a winner, who have you decided is a loser, and who are those people that you won't even notice because you decided they don't count. And start asking, what is it that's underneath all of that?
I love that. Yeah, like just you can start using these tools like right away.
Yes, you don't have to wait for the class.
And it will be a live and online class. So for someone who wishes to also enjoy the body processes in person and like get the feeling of the class in person, people can travel to Helsinki. And if you would rather stay like and enjoy it there and also see possibly Finland for the first time, or like meet someone in person, meet Satu in person for the first time, and if it's just better for you to do it from home, that's also a possibility, like from the comfort of your home, on your bed, on your couch, whatever you'd like.
Don't need to wear pants.
Don't need to wear pants, can get as comfortable as you'd like. That's still a possibility.
Really looking forward to it.
And the links for the sign up will be down below in the comments.
Down below? Okay. I know you like to go there.
Below the Zoom line.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this chat. Thank you everybody for watching, and let us know if this changes anything for you.
Yeah. Thank you as well, Satu. It was really an awesome conversation. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.